Our story starts today in a world that feels both hauntingly familiar and terrifyingly alien. Imagine being stranded in a landscape so desolate that the silence itself becomes your loudest enemy, and the horizon is just a cruel joke played by the sun. Today on Mr. A Stories, we are diving deep into the 2022 psychological thriller, Gold. Starring Zac Efron in a performance that stripped away every bit of his Hollywood glamour, this isn't just another survival movie, it's a raw, agonizing descent into the darkest corners of human greed. I'm Mr. A, and if you enjoy cinematic deep dives that pull you into the heart of the story, make sure you've hit that subscribe button and turned on the notification bell so you never miss a journey. We are going to explore what happens when a man is left alone with nothing but his own mind and a fortune he can't spend. Let's head into the wasteland. The year is unspecified. The location is a nameless, scorched earth. We aren't given a backstory. We don't know who the protagonist is, or what his life was before this moment. We only know one thing: he is a drifter. He is trying to reach the outpost, a place that represents safety, employment, and a chance to finally exist. But before he even gets there, the environment tells us everything we need to know. The cinematography here is brutal. It's not just a backdrop. The Australian outback is a character in itself. The heat is palpable. You can almost feel the grit of the sand in your throat. This is a world where nature has won, and humanity is just trying to find a corner to hide in. It's the perfect stage for a story about isolation. Our protagonist, played by Efron, is picked up by a local man, the driver. From the moment they meet, the vibe is off. It's a classic two-hander, but there's no warmth here. They are two strangers forced together by the sheer scale of the desert. The dialogue is sparse, uncomfortable, and loaded with unspoken tension. They travel for miles through the nothingness, the car engine humming a monotonous tune. They don't talk about the dreams or their pasts. They are just two bodies moving through a graveyard of sand. But then, everything changes with a single, metallic thud. The car stalls, and for a moment, the world stops spinning. They step out into the heat, unaware that their lives are about to be shattered. They walk, and then it happens. The shovel hits something that shouldn't be there. It's not a rock, it's not an artifact, it's gold. Not a coin, not a small nugget, but a massive, shimmering slab buried deep within the crust of the earth. This is the turning point of the entire film. Watch the reaction of the two men. It isn't just excitement, it's an immediate, primal, and dangerous shift in the dynamic. The greed is instantaneous. In a world where they have nothing, this gold is everything. It's a ticket out, it's power, it's life itself. But as they stare at it, you can see the wheels turning. Who gets the biggest share? How do they get it out? The gold has already begun to poison their minds. The slab is too heavy to move. They can't dig it out with their hands. The driver decides he will go to get a backhoe and equipment, while our protagonist stays behind to guard the gold. "Don't leave me," he says. But the driver promises he will be back in a few days. He leaves behind some water, a little food, and a radio that barely works. As the car pulls away, the silence rushes back in, heavier than before. Our hero is now alone in the middle of nowhere, sitting on a fortune that he cannot eat, drink, or use to save his life. He is now a king of nothing, sitting on a throne of dust. This is where Efron's performance truly shines. This is a study of human endurance. Days turn into a week. The water runs out. The sun beats down with a lethal intensity. We see his skin blister, his lips crack, and his movements become sluggish and painful. He tries to build a shelter from a piece of plastic, but the wind is relentless. He's fighting the sun, he's fighting the flies, and most importantly, he's fighting the realization that he might have been abandoned. The gold, once a symbol of hope, is now his anchor, keeping him trapped in a tomb of his own making. Every frame reminds us that wealth is meaningless when you're dying of thirst. The mind is the first thing to go. Without human contact, Our protagonist starts to fracture. He hears voices in the wind. He sees people in the distance. Are they rescuers? Or are they death coming to claim him? The film does something brilliant here. It makes the audience question what is real. Is there really someone watching him? Or is his mind creating enemies to keep him awake? He starts talking to the gold, almost as if it's a living thing. It's a tragic, poetic exploration of how we project our desires onto objects that don't care if we live or die. The isolation is no longer external, it's internal. As the tension reaches its breaking point, we confront the ultimate question: what is the price of survival? When the driver finally returns, or does he, the climax is a gut punch. It's a brutal, honest look at human nature. Gold isn't a story about a treasure hunt. It's a story about the weight of greed. It asks, if you had the world in your hands, but were dying of thirst, would you let go? If you enjoyed this breakdown of the psychological layers of gold, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to Mr. A Stories for more deep dives into the films that stay with you. Drop a comment below. What would you have done? Would you have stayed with the gold? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.